Sportsman. Yeah. You in the mix, rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the sports mix with Kenny, news and knowledge. A lot of dope techniques make kids become scholars. You need to tune in. A lot of hot topics. When it comes to sports, Kenny sound like a prophet. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. Keep you up on all the hottest trends. Plus you never know who he has as a guest. So grab a cold one, man, and just tune in. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. You rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty.
Ooh. Sports Mix. Big Kenny in the building. Got my guy Dino. What's up,
yes,
baby?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
Up in here.
Yeah. We here.
Yes.
You know, not to talk about. We ain't really did nothing since I guess since football season was over with.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Might have been on here once or twice, but we ain't really chopped it up since the end of the Ravens season. You know how we felt about that. we know how we felt about that.
Right.
That nonsense. But yeah, we here tonight, man. I'm getting situated. So we're gonna start it off. Tough way to start. Tonight, just found out that a dude I used to look up to growing up. We lived on the same block. He was a giant to me, growing up, man. I always, thought the dude was about 7 feet tall. I can see him dribbling that basketball down the street between his legs right now, boom, boom, boom. Passed away, I believe Sunday night. But again, man, he was to me and a lot of guys that, from my era, from my street, we all grew up on that street together. Same block, Cornell Lewis, Hall of Fame at Dundalk High School, played at Dundalk Community College as well. One of them ones in Turner Station, he was one of them ones that everybody talked about as far as the basketball went. So got the blessing of his sister, Kathy, who I grew up with. We were kind of same age. That I was going to dedicate the show to him tonight. And we'll start off just talk a little bit about the impact he had, the type of person he was, and just share a couple little memories of Cornell Lewis, Big Lou, 6'2" Lou, as they called him.
Big Lou.
Yeah, but we're gonna dedicate the sports mix to him tonight. So anybody that's watching, if you got any memories of Lou, drop them in the comments, man. Any memories you have of him, anything you want to share, feel free to leave it in the comments. So he dedicating the show to him tonight. Definitely gonna be missed. Man, it's tough. Great guy. Somebody, like I say, somebody I watch all my life, growing up. He was just a guy, like I said, I thought he was a giant. And again, when I couldn't play a lick of basketball, he was a fire that I just admired and kept my eyes on. So
yeah, man. It's kind of rare that you think about somebody and zero negative thoughts come up in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But guy Cornell, man, I have zero. I have never had a negative encounter with him. You know, obviously you grew up on the same street. You know, I dealt with him on the basketball court a lot, and I mean, the guy just was, I mean, just a good dude, man. Just really a good dude. And condolences to the family. Shocking news when I heard that. Um, I know he had been down in Florida for the last several years, and man, I can't even remember the last time I actually saw him. But man, I have no negative thoughts. I remember when he was. Everybody know him from the basketball court. I remember when he was DJing on a radio station. You remember that, Kenny? He was DJing. I can't remember the station, but he used to be on there, playing the music, and I would always call in, tell him I wanted to hear this record or that record, and yeah, just to I mean, just thinking about it kind of brings a smile to my face. So just sad news, man. Sad
Yeah,
news.
yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, and again, I agree, man. I can't think of a negative thing. Not that I would say anything negative, but like you say, you just don't have no negative thought
Yeah,
of him. He just always smiling,
right.
always in a good mood, always had a joke, laugh, you know, as me being a younger ball player, he's always encouraging to me. I think I was telling you before we came on, just had an opportunity, or sister say it was on WWIN. So,
Okay.
had the opportunity, right, to play against him. Like, now he was, I was in high school, so I like learning, just trying to figure it out. And so that's when I realized that this dude wasn't 7 feet tall. And I was taller than him by then. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, but I had the opportunity to play against him, and I got a couple buckets on him. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I made it. To me, that was saying that I made it because he was somebody that I looked at as like, his game was up here to me. You know what I mean? And so the fact that I could get a couple buckets on him, and he, always was encouraging, always showed me like, hey, keep working, keep doing it. You're gonna be all right. So I always felt like, if I got his blessing, I was good. I was
Okay, he
good.
continued some gospel radio on Tampa. That's what's up. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, see, this stuff I didn't even know. I didn't know he was on the radio.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know that. Telling me what I was doing at that time. I missed that.
Yeah, they had a strong team, man, with Connell and Terry and Warren Neblett,
Mhm.
Connell Jackson, and then Brian Chambers and all them on that team, man. They had a really good team. I got an opportunity to see them play a lot. Yeah,
I
they did
went
real.
up there and caught them a couple times when
Yeah,
they was all up there. I saw them play a couple times.
I was up there. I caught them. I don't know where they were at, but they were playing BNBL, and they was going against Reggie Williams and them
Mm-hmm.
in BNBL. Yeah, they took a L on that one, but
Yeah, ain't a whole lot of people in town can say they beat
right,
them boys.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's some heavy news, man. To hear that,
yeah, I definitely,
heavy news, man.
yeah, for sure. But just want sending condolences out to the family for sure, and that like I said, I haven't seen him in quite a while. I know he was down in Florida. I think the last time I remember seeing him, I think I was still living in Turner. That was back in the '90s, so
Mm-hmm.
it's been a good while. But
Him,
you
him,
know,
and him and him and Shanetta was loving basketball back in the day. Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah,
I remember that. She lived down the other end of the street.
yeah,
Yeah, we was all on the same street. I remember she could play too.
yeah. She's a baller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you brought one back with that one. I forgot all
yeah,
about that.
yeah. Definitely, man. They was
Yeah.
two ballers.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's tough right there.
You know, back then, man, you be thinking people gonna stay together forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. All right, coming to the stage, the Hall of Famer, Glenny Moore.
Okay. Okay.
What's up, my brothers? What's going on?
Oh man, man, we just
Been a minute. Been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Dedicating the show tonight to one of our homeboys that passed away. Cornell Lewis from Turner Station. He's legendary on that court out there. Played at Dundalk High School. Played a little bit at
1987.
He was at Dundalk Community College in '87. Player of the year. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I think I was in Tampa. Oh, but he's not. He didn't live here presently.
He was living in Florida.
Okay.
He was living in Florida. But I'm dedicating the show tonight.
When the last time you seen him?
Probably in the '90s.
In the '90s back then, yeah, it's been a while because he been down there for a good minute, yeah.
Yeah, probably the '90s last time I seen him. That I can remember seeing him.
Yeah.
You know, if I've seen him since then, charge it to the game, my old age. Memory ain't what it used to be.
Right.
But the show is dedicated to Cornell Lewis tonight. You know, I'm gonna leave his photo up for anybody that's gonna tune in. Any memories of him, anything they want to say about him, just put it in the comments and I'll get the comments up, So man, Glenny, man, you had a heck of a show the other night.
Man, very, very educational, man. And,
I learned some stuff, man. And I know Dante. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know him, man, and I learned a few things about him. And Dana for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, I definitely learned some stuff about her. Man, listen, man. When she said she hadn't picked up a basketball until she was in the ninth grade.
Yeah. Crazy.
Man, get out of here, man.
Crazy.
Get out of here. You went from never touching a basketball in the ninth grade to becoming a high school All-American by your senior year.
Listen, I've been playing basketball in the alley since I was 5 years old, and she didn't pick up a ball until she got to high school. Man. And 4 years later, All-American.
That's tough.
Wow. Hey, who was that?
Dana Johnson. Played at West.
Okay. Yeah.
Tennessee. Went down to Tennessee with Pat Summers.
Yeah.
Man,
absolutely.
Awesome, and I seen her play at Western by I think she's junior, senior when I seen her. By then she was, she was what she became, And you couldn't tell me now, but you tell me now, but you couldn't have told me then that she just picked the ball up a couple years ago. At that point, the way she was dominating. Her story was awesome, man. I'm glad that you got her on and got to share her story. And I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about it. You know how it is with time. Time get passed and we kind of forget.
Well, both of them are quiet individuals and very humble.
Yeah. Now more people talk about Dante. Just because the boys, the men gonna get theirs. Men gonna get their props anyway. But yeah, Dante, humble, man. And when you brought Paul on and Diego, both of them said the same thing, man. He quiet.
Same thing.
Went about his business. And both of them had the same memory.
Yep. But Kenny, the crazy part for me, and I kept thinking about it afterwards, you got to remember, we're not just talking. He was the #1 player in the country on the #1 undefeated team. And the following year, he was humble. Back at the bottom.
Back at the bottom.
That was crazy. And he was saying it like that. He was saying it like that.
Playing pickup with the peasants.
Yeah. Ain't that, man? That blew my mind, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Dean, you got to check that interview out, man.
I will have to. Sound like I need to check it out.
Yeah. And I got to get him on here because I supposed to have Dante on here a little while ago. We had some technical difficulties that couldn't make it happen. But I'm gonna reach out to him and bring him back up on here. But yeah, that was definitely, man, a great interview with Dante and Dana. And thanks for having me on in the beginning.
Oh man, that was crazy how y'all started it off, man, chopping it up. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it though. That was, anytime we get to talk about basketball, I'm here for it. I'm here
Mhm.
for it. I'm gonna say Cornell started with Mr. Smitty.
Coach
So
Smitty.
so Glenny, like so in Turner Station, right?
Mhm.
If you grew up, see, I caught the end of Mr. Smitty. Like by the
Mhm.
time I came along, Mr. Smitty was shutting it down.
Mhm.
I think by the time I got to be about 12,
Mhm.
he passed it on to the next generation. But he was the guy in Turner Station that like whether it was baseball, football, basketball, he you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, he kind of had it going. And he got
So let me ask you. So y'all had a rec out there? You had a recreation center out there?
it wasn't necessarily a center, but it was
Mhm.
where they had the recreation stuff at. It was an old school. So
Okay.
it used to be the elementary school. One of the they had two elementary schools down there before the
Mhm.
before segregation, desegregation.
Mhm.
So at the one rec center was Fleming.
Mhm.
So I guess what was it called? Fleming Elementary.
Yeah.
And so that
Mhm.
became like the Fleming Center. And
Mhm.
so like when I started going down there like in the early '80s when I was probably
Mhm.
like 9 years old, and I started going to play sport.
Mhm.
But so he was like the guy, you know.
Mhm.
So he, like I know he did a lot with basketball and baseball for sure.
Mhm.
And they started the football team, I want to say like in the late '60s, early '70s, the Turner
Mhm.
State Vikings. I don't know what his involvement with that was, but Mr. Smitty was like the guy. So they and actually working on getting a statue made of him right now.
Is that
Mhm.
right? He
Yeah,
deserved it.
yeah. And
Mhm.
so two of his sons I'm supposed to have as guests on the show. I gotta stop playing and get him up on here so
Mhm.
they can tell his story and kind of share that with everybody. But yeah, Mr. Smitty was like that guy out there for us. And
So
I kind of caught
is
the end of it.
educate me? Is Stembridge part of Dundalk or
Nah,
past Dundalk?
Stembridge is like Essex. It's out
Okay.
there in the Essex area. But it's
Okay.
on the same side of town, I guess.
Mhm.
They more like Essex, more Essex
Mhm.
area. But Turner Station, we don't even consider ourselves Dundalk. We,
Right.
Okay. Okay.
like you talk to somebody from Turner Station,
That was,
they say you from Dundalk, you can get shut
yeah,
you can get shut down.
yeah. That was offensive to transportation people. And the thing that was super offensive is when somebody who kind of made it out of
Oh
Turner
yeah.
Station, like a
Mm.
Calvin Hill, Grant Hill's father, and you
Mhm.
might hear him, they interviewing him, and he'll say he's from Dundalk,
Oh man.
and
Okay.
everybody was just like going nuts.
Mhm.
Yeah, he done forgot where he came from. Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, Mr. Smitty was that guy, you know. So we I'm a prop mines up any chance I get. I'm Turner Station born and raised, so I don't run from it. So I take it everywhere I go. You know, don't say I was from Dundalk. I went to Dundalk High School. I don't talk about that too much. But I'm Turner Station all the way, all day.
Mhm.
Yeah. So man, did y'all see the game last night? The final? Did we see that, man?
I did see it.
Yeah, I saw highlights of it.
Boy, I picked Houston to win it.
I
I picked
thought they
Houston,
were.
and
I thought they were.
I mean, mm, it was a good game. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It was a good game. I was talking to a guy today, and it wasn't a high scoring game. They was actually playing defense. You know what I'm saying? They were strapped up a little bit. Um, Houston is a scrappy team. Like wasn't a lot of 3-point. They wasn't jacking shots up. They was they just played basketball. And
Mhm.
and Florida, I give Florida props, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they could have folded it up. The number one kid, the number one scorer. They had him kind of bottled up. I think he had
Mhm.
1 point at the half.
Mhm.
I think he finished with like 13, 12 or 13, but he had like 1 point at the half. They had them bottled up. But them dudes, man, they hung in there and came through at the end. So as far as Houston is concerned, the 2 plays at the end when the kid is driving and the kid on the baseline on the wings sagged off his man and caused the turnover. That was huge. You know what I'm saying? Just the thought to even sag off your man to leave your guy at the 3-point line, which most people would say you never leave somebody that wide open, especially in the corner.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as you talk about it.
He sagged off and stuck his hand in there and got the steal. Well, he didn't get the steal. He just helped him turn the ball over. He dribbled it out of bounds. And then the last play, to not get a shot off. You know what I'm saying? To not get a shot off. But the contest was textbook. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want your guys to do. You want to contest the shot. Because it's so easy now with kids, man. Everybody, they running at shooters and they jumping at shooters. And it's like, I'm yelling, screaming, yelling, just contest hands big, choppy feet, never jump at a jump shooter, man. He played it perfect. And he played the thing perfect, man. Perfect. And they didn't even get the shot out. I mean, when he let the ball go and he's sitting there, and I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. This look like I know coaches over there is sick. I know he over there is sick, man. But in a moment like that, you gotta hug your guy, tell him you love him, and things like that happen. But I know in the back of his mind, he cussing him.
Yeah.
He cussing him, man. But it was a good game, man. I didn't lose nothing, so I didn't put no money out.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah. But after they came back and beat Duke Saturday, I felt like, okay. They come, and they started out strong. It was up 12, I think, 12-14 at one point.
Yeah.
I said, man, if they just keep their feet on their neck, they get floored up out of there and be over with. But this wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, I thought, man, I when I see Houston play, it just kind of remind me of Arkansas or Georgetown back in the day. Defensively, they get after these guys and just play at a high speed. They take guys out of the game. Florida guys was struggling with the quickness of the game. Them guys was traveling and walking and turning the ball over in the first half, and Houston went to that 14-point lead, and I got a text message saying it's over. A friend of mine texted me, said it's done, it's over. And I said, no, it's like 13 minutes left in there. I said, no, it ain't over yet, man. It's a lot of time. And then I also text them that, referees are programmed to try to make these games tight. They work to make the game tight. They want excitement. And, in my mind, I'm thinking, as at halftime, when they go into the locker room and coaches talking to their teams and trying to get them to, improve on the second half. I think referees gather and they know, hey, we gotta get this game tight. We can't let Houston run away with this. And man, they started calling some fouls, man, on Houston. And before you know it, man, that 14-point lead was gone. And you had a really tight game. And that's what the fans want. And I think and it's just my perspective. I think the referees are programmed to try to make them games tight.
Wow. I don't know, man. When I look at it, first of all number ones. That blew my mind, because even when March Madness back in the day, you didn't get all number ones.
No.
You still did. So when I was looking at the game, I appreciated the game the way it went, Kenny, because what we expected didn't happen. So I like that part about it. And but I'm still bugging out all number ones. No Cinderella story. Wasn't no storyline. And but it was still a good championship game. These guys are pros, man. All of them, man. These guys are pros, and they ready to go. And so I'm just glad it was a good game. I'm with my mom on this one. My mom sometimes don't know what's going on in the game per se.
Mm-hmm.
She loved that Cinderella story. She loved that underdog. She'll pick the underdog in every game.
Right.
And I'm not sure we know who was the underdog in the Final Four.
Right. Well, Houston, a 2 seed. Was it 2 seed or 1 seed?
One.
It was a 1 seed.
Damn. All of them.
All the Final Four teams was one.
It was 1 seed. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Crazy.
No storyline.
Yeah, because I know, when I was filling the bracket out, I picked a couple upsets. As a matter of fact, I know I had Michigan State in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I might have had Penny Hardaway in them in the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think I might have had Memphis. Now, what I didn't know about Memphis, because I just saw an interview with Penny Hardaway today, I didn't know his point guard was hurt for that game, for the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And like he said, I don't make no excuses, because we got to play. You know what I'm saying? But, had I known that, I may not have picked them to go all the way to the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? From my perspective. But, I didn't realize that they were hurt.
Who was your number one? Who was your number one? Duke? Did you have Duke winning it all?
I had Houston.
You did have Houston. Who you had, Dean?
I didn't have anybody. I didn't even look into it. Once they got to the Final Four, I thought Duke was going to win it.
Right.
Now, I had Houston and Duke. They're the only two teams that I had on my bracket to get to the Final Four. And Duke, my heart was telling me Duke was going to win it. Sentimentally, I wanted Houston to win it, but I just kept saying Duke was just tough. And even watching the game Saturday, I just felt like they was going to do enough to get past Houston, because they was beating them pretty much until the end. You know what I'm saying? And but again, man, it just shows some heart. Like Houston turned the defense up at the end. They turned them over. Especially on that inbound play, that was huge. Duke trying to get the ball, because really, if they get the ball in at that point, that might be the game.
It'd have been over.
Because they get it. Houston gonna foul them. They're gonna go to the line. They're gonna knock free throws down, and that they could have won the game at the line, but they turned them over, and Houston got to the chip.
And that was with Grant Hill announcing the game, and Coach K sitting right there in the stands. They fell apart at the end. A Duke team. Houston went on a 9-0 run to end the game.
Yeah,
unreal.
Like but it's something. It's something to see them when Duke lose a game in the tournament. To see the expression on them fans, the tears falling, and it's something. It's something magical about that.
Yeah,
something magical about that. Yeah, I'm a Duke hater. We say, I respect them, because they got some. I respect them, but I do not like Duke. I don't root for nothing coming out of Duke. I mean, me and my guy Neil was talking about Duke last week. I said I can name the Duke players that I liked on one hand. I like Kyrie, even though he only played about 8 games.
About 8 games.
The 8 games he played was sensational.
It was. Blew me away,
man. He was tough at Duke.
Blew me away.
Elton Brand, because a big guy. I liked Elton Brand. Tough.
Tough.
And Grant Hill.
Yeah.
But it was hard for me to root for Grant Hill because they beat Vegas. And I still haven't got over that.
Yeah.
You better stop, Kenny. You better stop, Kenny. You mean to tell me you not going to pick one of your favorites, the greatest college basketball player of all time? You ain't going to pick Christian Laettner?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You mean to tell me you ain't going to pick Christian Laettner? Come on, I know he in your top 2.
Nah. Yeah, top 2 most hated. He right at the top.
You wasn't doing backflips when he made that shot against Kentucky?
Man, I listen. I was in. I can tell you exactly where I was at. I was at my grandmother's house. I was on the phone. Remember the phone? You remember how you carry the phone with the cord? I used to be like in the kitchen, and I had
Yeah.
to walking around talking to somebody, and I said, man, I said Kentucky grade knocked them off. Ain't no way. He got to go full. He got to throw the ball full court.
Right.
I'm sitting there on the phone. I was sitting on my grandmother's coffee table, watching her big floor model. And I'm sitting there. I got the phone, and I see the pass go, and it's almost like it felt like I was out there with her. I'm watching that thing.
That was unbelievable, man.
That boy caught that ball, man. It's just like they got out the way. I don't want to foul him. Man, he turned around and that thing hit nothing. And I just fell on the floor. I dropped the phone and fell to the floor. I couldn't.
Did Grant Hill throw that pass?
Grant Hill.
He threw the pass, right? Yeah.
Grant Hill threw the pass.
The whole world fell out.
Man.
Right.
I said, come on, man. Then, Mashburn, he fouled out right before that.
Right.
I ain't no conspiracy. Like you say, Dean, they gotta make it tight.
They gotta make it tight, man. They want these games to be memorable.
Oh, and they still talking about that.
Yeah.
This 30-something years later, they still talking about that shit.
Yeah, that was a miracle play.
He turned out to be a great pro though, didn't he?
Horrible.
Yeah, he didn't as great of a college career he had, it definitely did not roll over to the NBA level.
Well, isn't that every Duke player?
Yeah.
Grant Hill kind of went there.
Kyrie the exception.
Kyrie the exception.
You know what? I mean, can we even say Kyrie is a Duke player? He only played 8 games.
Yeah, 8 games.
That's like a red shirt year or something.
Yeah, but what about your other boy? He out for the season. Zion.
I ain't never been. I said this when he came in the league. I just didn't believe in him. I wasn't a fan. I mean, he was highlights and he was must see TV, man. But I just for as far as the league is concerned, I just don't see him long term being a superstar. I didn't see it.
Well, he's showing it now. It ain't working out because he probably played more college games than he played pro games.
Good point.
Yeah, he been on the injured list every year.
Every year
he hit the injured list for some extended period of time. And they talking about his weight. They talking about, I wasn't concerned about his weight, man. It just was his game to me. He was all or nothing. So if he wasn't making a highlight play, like I didn't see, the other parts of his game that okay, he gonna translate it into become, this, because they was trying to compare him to like Charles Barkley and other big guys. And I'm like, man, and see, that's another thing, with time, when time get past us and we tend to forget. See, people look at Charles Barkley now, the big fat guy on TV, he be hating on everybody. Let me tell y'all something. Put Charles Barkley from 85, 87, 88 in the league right now.
Yeah.
Because people, I don't think people really believe Chuck was what he was. Man, Chuck was that.
He was the man.
Yeah. Chuck was that. And what Chuck say on the Dream Team thing, or one of them documentaries talking about, man, when they lost to Mike Jordan and them in the finals, he said that was the first time he ever believed anybody was better than him in basketball.
Yeah, what he said.
He said, man, somebody really better than me in basketball.
Yeah.
And Chuck was that. Like,
he was.
I don't care what nobody thinks. A lot of people don't like him just because of some of his takes. But on that court, man, Barkley was that, man.
He was a force, man. He was a force.
For sure. But Zion Williamson, to me, man, he just never showed me that he was going to be anything other than, like he was the highlight guy. Highlights make a lot of people look like they supposed to be, getting them big max deals and all that stuff. But I'm And what he been in the league now, Bobo? 6 years?
I think about 5. Did he sign another contract?
I don't know if he signed. But I know he been in the league long enough to know.
I wonder how many total games he played in his time in the league, man. I ain't seen enough of the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
Well, so what was the news, Kenny, on what was the news on how they treated Hakeem, man?
Yeah, I didn't see how I know that they would let him on the court when they beat Duke the other night.
Wow.
I just saw the video of the security guard kind of like, nah.
Wow.
Come on, dog. This is Hakeem.
Right.
His face is the ID. His face is the VIP.
Come on, man.
Why do they do that, man? Why do they do that?
Yeah, I guess that was security. That was his one shining moment.
That don't make sense, man. I mean, Patrick Ewing was having the same issue up at the Garden.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Come on now.
I don't get it. I don't get it. But that was definitely. And then it was on TV. It got caught on the camera. But that's what made it even worse. If we'd have heard that and didn't see it, you know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't sting as bad. We probably said, "Oh man, come on, man, how you gonna let Hakeem on the court?" But for it to be on video, and then the dude kind of like, "No, sir, no." So yeah, I know you got the bounce, Glenny. Any words before you part?
Man. So
UConn, did you catch UConn women?
Yeah, them girls, man. What are they doing in the gym to get that good, man? I wouldn't even want to play her. I wouldn't even want to play against her. No.
Yeah.
Man, they awesome, man. The skill set with these girls are incredible, man.
Tough.
And I will definitely even be a bigger fan of the WNBA next year. I'm looking forward to it, really. I want to see the skill set. I want to see the players and the stories behind it. But the NBA, I don't know what they're doing. But the WNBA, they up and coming. They up and coming, man.
Yeah. They slept on them. And the women's game, as far as entertainment value, is catching.
Oh, that's what I want to ask y'all. Kenny. So now y'all were just talking about the scope of the NCAAs. Now the championship is done. So everything is uncertain for next year. You don't know what players going where. You don't know who's going to the draft. It's just in disarray. Nobody has control other than the individual players. Y'all like that?
Nah.
It's crazy.
It's a little bit too much. It's too much going on as far as the movement.
And they moving during the NCAA tournament. They in the portal going to other schools now.
Should not happen. It should not happen. You know what I'm saying? If they, wait till the tournament is over, and then even with coaches moving, just like with the Maryland coach, that was just totally unprofessional, man. To do it right before the biggest game that Maryland has had in quite a few years. You know what I'm saying? He knew he was leaving. He knew what was going on. And he tried to play the game like, well, I don't know what's going on. No, you knew. Because it wouldn't have became a story if you didn't know. It wouldn't have became a story if you didn't know. I think that was terrible timing.
Yeah.
But as far as the portal, like nobody should be able to. The transfer portal shouldn't be open until the season is all the way over. I don't understand what advantage do they get by making a move 2 weeks ago rather than today. Like I don't get the advantage. I don't see what the big advantage is.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to do some scaling back, man. I mean, it's just too chaotic right now. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if players still had to sit out a year, maybe that would keep some of this movement down. But these guys are just moving season to season, trying to get the bigger bag, and I mean it's crazy, man. It is crazy.
I don't mind.
All right, my brothers.
All right, Glenny.
Okay, Glenny.
I don't mind them dudes getting their money.
Not at all.
As a matter of fact, I applaud that. I think it was long overdue. You know, players should have been getting something. You know, for all the money that they make for the NCAA and to them universities, they should have been getting something.
Agreed.
But like you say, the movement part of it. You got dudes that been at 4 schools in 4 years. Like that's craziness. That's craziness. You know, and I get it. You know how it is, man. You just for a dude that's working a regular 9 to 5. You know, you might switch jobs once a year until you find that fit. I get it. But when you only have 4 years to do it, you know, we talking about working, you got a lifetime to work a regular job. You know, you got 4 years of college eligibility, you know, and if it's all about the bag, then you in it for the wrong reason anyway. You know what I mean? Give me the guys that love basketball. You know, maybe just that's my age talking.
Yeah, I
Dad,
mean, you know, they start throwing that money out,
yeah,
and that's gonna be the bottom line. I mean, a lot of these guys, some of them definitely, I mean, most of them definitely won't make it to the league.
right.
You know, it's a limited amount of players in the NBA. Now it's an opportunity for some of these guys to make some money, you know, based on their skill. Because, like you say, they are bringing a lot of money to these universities. And I mean, you know, other than the fact that they can move from team to team, uh, the whole money thing was already there. I mean, it was just under the table.
Oh yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it was just all a sneak thing, and basically an illegal thing for these universities to pay players back then. These boosters, all this under the table, buying houses and cars, and giving the parents money under the table, and all that kind of stuff. That's been going on for decades. They just basically made it legal to pay these players.
Say that one more time. It's been going on how long?
Decades.
Yeah.
I remember when Skip Wise, you know, he got pulled up because, you know, when he went down there to Clemson, you know, he was driving around in a brand new Cougar back in the day. And you know, because Skip Wise, when he came out, he was pretty much like the number 2 player in the nation behind Moses Malone. And they had a group of coaches who evaluate players, and they evaluated Skip Wise as the best guard coming out of high school that year. And that group of coaches was led by the legendary John Wooden. So when Skip came out, it was legit, you know. So he was getting paid back then. They getting paid now. And you know, the thing with the NIL and the thing with the money is that whatever school has the most money is going to get the most talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it's going to play. I think you had put a clip on the group message of the coach from where did he coach at? He was asking for some money.
Oh, that was Grambling.
Grambling head coach, basketball coach, saying that, you know, they need to pay him some buyout money when they come and snatch their players and they go and play for a bigger university.
Yeah.
And you know, and pretty much the schools now that it's no longer under the table, it's on top of the table. Now you're going to always see there was 4 number 1 seeds.
Yep.
In the Final Four, you're definitely going to see the bigger schools remain dominant because it's a money thing.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about the NIL that I don't like too much, is that these big schools are pretty much locked in as being dominant from here on out. And that goes for, you know, all the NIL sports, football and basketball.
Because you know, in my conspiracy thinking, I say, you know, the NCAA is sitting back and they are loving the chaos. They loving the fact that it's chaotic because it's going to give them an opportunity. Once they get enough people complaining, it's going to give them the opportunity to come back in and regain control. Which that's what it really is about. So I think on one hand, while they lost the case, and saying that the players could use their name, image, and likeness, which is what NIL is for, name, image, and likeness, for those that don't know. Once they lost the case that said the players could use their own name, image, and likeness to earn money, the NCAA really at that point didn't have a fight. They probably could afford it, and put up a fight. But I think they sat back and said, okay, let's see. Let's see where this thing go. And it's somebody in that office that's sitting back and like, I just hope it gets out of hand so that we can come back in. So they'll come back in with a formula because now they know what kind of money is out there, for these guys to get paid. Now, so, like I say, these guys, some of them, like the top of the top players, are going to be able to make, really life-changing money. Coming into college, they can set themselves up based off of their potential earnings, and the potential stardom. You look at some of the deals that like players like, Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter, some of the deals they were getting, them dudes were millionaires.
Yes.
Outside of their father, outside of Deion's money, they had their own million, and some of the bigger name players are able to go out and really make that kind of money. So now with what some of the other schools, so I know it's an issue I know it was an issue. Johnny Lang, what's up, my brother? I know it was an issue with at Georgetown right now, where I follow a little bit of what's going on at Georgetown. And so, their NIL pile is not, significant, which is why they have so much turnover every year. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't understand how the NIL works from the standpoint of a team able to have a pot and they paying players out of the pot. Like I gotta look into that and really see how that works.
Yeah.
But I know that there's been some talk about like Georgetown, Maryland even not having the NIL capabilities that some other schools had. And you would think in this area, the DC area, that it's a lot of money down there in that Montgomery County and PG County and Northern Virginia, man. It's a lot of money down there. And you would think, you got Maryland, got Kevin Plank, the Under Armour guys is an alumni. I mean, you would just think, that the NIL stuff will be a little different. But again, I gotta do some homework and really see how they putting that stuff together, and how like they say Oregon had NIL before it was before it was legal, because the Nike guys out there, Phil Knight, out there in Oregon, and they said that he send a private jet to get you. Come on out here and play some ball. You gonna have all the finest Nikes and you walk in the store and get what you want. Get your mama something, get your brother something,
Yeah, and that explains why Oregon always had them tight uniforms, man. They be looking good on the field.
Yeah, Oregon has got a different uniform every game.
Every game.
Yeah, and kids is excited by that kind of stuff.
Exactly. That makes a difference in recruitment.
Yeah. So I'm a fan of paying of the players getting paid. I'm definitely a fan of that. I think that was long overdue. But like you said, they've been getting paid under the table anyway. This ain't like this a new thing.
Right.
And when people act like, it used to make me laugh when you get people when they're talking about, yeah, this coach, he does it the right way. He does it the right way. Shut up with that noise, man. If you are playing at that level if your team, your school was at that level, there's some money being changed hands. You can
It's
bet
money.
that. You know what I'm saying? You can bet that. So all that he did it the right way, and his guys were this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Yes, your favorite coach too. The one that you had you call it the wings. What you call them? The angel wings.
Yeah,
Yeah, him too. He had some stuff going. Him too. Yep, he was cheating. He was cheating.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's $1 billion industry. It's $1 billion business. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I'm saying? And when in Rome, you do what the Romans do. You know,
That's
you
it.
know what I'm saying? And really, it's the ones that get caught. They don't get caught because they were sloppy. They got caught because they got arrogant. They got stupid. You know what I'm saying? Or they pissed the wrong somebody off.
It pissed somebody off. Yeah.
They pissed the wrong somebody off.
Yeah.
You know. Eric Dickinson and them out there at SMU. You know, Eric Dickinson said somebody gave him something. He took it and went on to SMU.
Yeah, them players get paid, man.
You know, so come on. I mean, they didn't piss somebody off, and they said SMU is done, death penalty. You know.
Yeah, they were saying that one of the arguments that Kevin Willett was putting out there, he was saying that he's a little upset that the football program was getting more than he thought. He thought he should get a little bit more money for the basketball program that was being sent to the football program. But the football teams generate way more money for the university than the basketball does. Yeah. And so a lot of colleges, they want their football team to be prime time, before the basketball, because it's the big money generator.
And who don't know that?
Right.
Come on, Kevin Will. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Come on, man. You know that. You know football is the engine that drives every university.
He understands that.
Yeah, he knows that. That's why he's at Villanova, where football isn't that good.
They ain't got no football program. They get all the money, go straight to basketball.
Yeah. He go up there to Villanova.
Right.
And more power to you. And Maryland, for all intents and purposes, I mean, they don't have a powerhouse football program.
No.
They play in the Big Ten, which, I always knew when they moved to the Big Ten that they would struggle with football. I just thought it was bad for football for Maryland to move to the Big Ten. I thought they were an ACC type football program, because in the ACC always was top heavy anyway. It was always a Florida State,
right,
or Miami,
Clemson,
Georgia Tech a little bit back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
But it was always top heavy, and then Maryland was kind of in that bottom tier, with the Virginias and NC States and schools like that. But for the Big Ten, and I give the coach, I mean he trying, he getting some kids. They trying to do some things down there. There's a lot of people that want them to go because they haven't really had a big season yet.
Yeah.
But they playing in the Big Ten.
You gotta understand.
You playing in the Big Ten, man. I mean, you got Ohio State, and USC in the Big Ten now.
USC, Oregon,
USC, man. Come on, man. Come on,
Michigan.
Man. So you gotta, you gotta really. I mean, man, they had to have extraordinary recruiting. I mean,
Penn State.
Penn State. So you talking about, man, these are perennial top 10 teams.
Yeah.
Every year. Top 10 to 15, 20 teams every year. And Maryland, man, is a team that's trying to get to that level. And Maryland's been to a bowl game, last few years. They get their 6-7 win.
Right.
Not that you're saying we just be happy with that. No, you want to win it, just like everybody else. But you got to also temper your expectation and understand who you are. Now, I can see if we were that at one point, and we trying to get back to that. But when has Maryland football ever been that? You know, never. They
Not
had
not that I recall.
they had the one good year under Friesian when I think they went to the Orange Bowl or something,
Yeah.
and I think they got their head busted open in that. You know,
I can't remember what happened. They did have that good year, and they might have had the dude that went to one Boomer Esiason, the other quarterback that went and played in the NFL. He was a backup for many years. And I can't think. Frank Reich, and he led that Maryland team, and they had a big win against Miami that year when they came back. They were down big and they came back.
I remember.
But yeah, they haven't been like that at all during their history, not in football.
No. And everybody that's tuning in, watching on YouTube, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button too. Show your boys some love on that YouTube. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And if you're watching on Instagram, let me show y'all some love too. We got a couple people over there checking us out. Show your boys some love, man. Hit them comments. We here dedicated the show tonight to Cornell Lewis, Turner Station, my big homie. I see a couple of his family members tuned in.
Yeah.
Sending some shout outs, to the family, condolences to the family. Big loss for sure.
Yeah.
So talking about the NIL transfer portal. We hit on that the game last night. So let's talk a little bit about the women's game. UConn and South Carolina. Now, I didn't get to see the semifinal games. I didn't even see the championship game because I was out moving around. I caught the end of the championship game Sunday. I was listening to it in the car, on the radio. And UConn just whatever, they just turned up.
Yeah,
they turned up, man, and it's tough. It's tough to stop a locomotive like that when they get it going, And I saw Dawn Staley's press conference afterwards, and she said, "Hey, man, we got beat. We got beat, man." Here go one of Cornell's nieces checking in. Always wanted to be with my uncle growing up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, and that rest easy at the end of that, man. I say he definitely gonna rest easy.
Oh, for sure.
His whole demeanor, man, was he had a calming effect. He had a good sense of humor. I mean, even his basketball game, just smooth.
Yeah, smooth.
Yeah, real smooth, man.
Easy money.
Yeah. That was him through and through, that personality, and he clearly gonna be missed. And the thing is like, I'm asking you when the last time you seen him.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Florida. He been down there for so long. I hadn't seen. Physically, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Right.
But he's still on top of the soil. So ain't no big worry. And I'm just thinking, Lou is Lou.
Yep. Yep.
Big news, man. Hearing that was a shocker, man. And you dropped the news to me, so that shook me, man. When you hit me with that.
Yep. Like you say, he one of them ones, man. That this was always the same. Like I've never seen him, he was always right there, always.
And I've been sitting here. Maybe it even don't make any sense, but like I said before, I can't think of anything negative. Say about Cornell, man. He was just smooth, man. I loved him on that radio, man. I used to call him up on that radio, man. Play this and play that, man. He loved that music.
Yeah.
Good stuff,
man. Yeah, but like sometimes when I go out there and I sit on my mother's porch sometimes just by myself, I might just be sitting there, you kind of reminiscing, you know. Oh, Killer Rob checking in.
Okay.
Yeah, Big Rob.
Okay.
Yeah, Cornell checked out, man. Passed away Sunday, I believe. Yep. I know Rob, y'all, you right around the corner, Rob. So I know you got some memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big Lou. But like, yeah, I sit on the porch sometime and I just think about, because you know how we do. We couldn't tell you nobody's address. You round past, oh, that's such and such house. That's such and such house.
Right.
How we do. We do that. We play that game. And like, I'll sit on my block and you think about, like, I can sit on the porch now from the top, from Chucky Shelton at the top of the street and come all the way down the block. You remember who lived in what house and what the family was and how many people was in the house and all that stuff. And you think about like little things, little stuff, especially from your childhood.
Yeah.
Riding bikes up and down the street, playing baseball and football in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 and like I say, we playing hide and seek and playing, all the little games we played as
Okay.
kids, man. And this, like I said early in the beginning, one of my fondest memories, something that you just never forget, man. Is I always remember seeing Cornell with that basketball, dribbling from his house, going past my house, on down Chestnut Street, on his way to wherever he was going to hoop at.
Yeah.
Whether it was over Silas, whether it was down, he always had that basketball, and I remember him going between his legs, boom, 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 all the way down the street. All the way down the street. And that's just something I always remembered about him. If I don't remember nothing else, that memory there will always stick with me. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing him walk away. Walk away down the street with that basketball.
And I mean, and basically, man, I mean, what you saying is that the dude had an impact on your life, a big impact.
For sure.
Yeah, that's an impact right there.
For sure. Because like I say, I didn't start playing basketball until I was about 13. 13, 14 maybe. So I was late bloomer. I didn't get as good as Dana Johnson did. Saunders, what's up, brother?
Okay. What's up, Landon? What's up, Uncle Rob? What's up, Beanie?
You know some jokes gonna come behind this favorite podcast.
Yeah, here it comes.
You know something. So just be prepared. he gonna hit you with a comment. That's to soften you up.
You see that? My favorite podcasters.
Yeah.
That's a light jab right there.
The jab. He softened you up with the little jab, the left jab at that, because I know he right-handed. Yeah, look, here you go. Here you go. You caught order to play. I know it's coming. This brother can't help himself.
That dude is relentless. Landon, was you like that in high school, man? I know he was a jokester, but I mean, he relentless now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it don't stop.
He could be on the stage, man.
It don't stop with him. It don't stop. So let me give a shout out to, I didn't know who this was checking in, WWMT. That is he go by the name of Kenny Wilkes Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, he just let me know he checking us out. He started his own YouTube page.
That's what's up.
We'll be talking about some wrestling, some WWE type content. So y'all follow my son, show him some love on his card, on his page.
What's up? That's what's up, young Kenny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw baby girl out there on the softball field the other day. So the family.
This is what they call this, the last dance. Mike Jordan had the last dance. This is it.
Yeah, the last dance. That's it.
Dance, Yeah. And that's why I missed the South Carolina game Sunday. Because she wanted to go to the batting cage.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
he wanted me to take it to the cage, so I took it to the batting cage Sunday. Trying
Yeah.
to get that swing back together.
So that she was at the which one?
There was one we found. There's a new one out there, out in security,
Okay. Okay.
like after the road. Because we used to go to the one on Bel Air off of Rossville, but they closed that one down.
Oh, it's closed? Dang, I
Yeah,
didn't
they
know that.
closed that one down. That used to be our spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be the spot, but they closed them down. So I googled it and found that one. But we used to go to one all the way out in Elkridge. You know, we used to take that. Okay, so he told let's get the plug all the way in. So he's doing wrestling with a splash of mental health awareness and a few other topics. Stay tuned. Appreciate all the love in advance. Also, shout out to the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? Yeah,
Right.
you gotta say the name because I think you talking about me.
Also, shout out to the GOAT. Right.
I think you talking about me.
Yeah.
He got softball. He talking about his sister.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
There you go.
hey, definitely shout out. Definitely shout out.
Yeah.
She's a silent assassin on that softball field. Don't say a whole lot. I know who you talking about. Yeah, I know who you talking about.
Right.
She don't do a lot of talking. You know, she
There it
let
is.
that bat and that glove do the talking for her.
You dropped the name.
Yeah, she do a lot of talking with the bat and the glove. But yeah, shout out to you, son. You know, wish you all the luck with your endeavors. You know, I'm gonna support you 1000%. I already know. But tell your friends to like my page. You know, we gotta do that. I'm gonna send some people your way. You gotta send some people my way. How about that?
Right.
And just call it a late Christmas gift. Let's do that. You know. But yeah, that South Carolina women, I mean UConn women, you know, it was their year. You know, they turned it up, turned it on at the right time. Um, dominant performance. You know, dominant performance, man. But that's as a coach, that's when you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season. You know, and Gino, I saw him in I saw Gino doing an interview. Might have been yesterday morning, like on Good Morning America or something. And he said that the team had some adversity in the
Yeah.
beginning of the season. You know, they had some adversity, man. He said, well, he didn't even think they was gonna make the tournament. You know, and he said at some point they figured it out. Like the light hit, the light switch went off, and they figured it out. And you know, from a coaching standpoint on the scale that I'm at, you know, I can say that happened with us last year at Dundalk. You know, during the season, you know, you just want to make it through the season, get in the playoffs, and see what happens. And the light switch kind of came on at the end of the season for the varsity team last year, where they won a couple of games, and you know they were playing well together. We got in the playoffs, and things lined up just the way we needed them to, and big players played big, and we were able to get the regional championship. You know what I'm saying? And that only happens when that whatever it is, they come together. It came together at the right time, and the guy was able to get it done. You know.
Agreed. And you know, I think this is a real big legacy win for Coach Gino.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the last 3-4 seasons, you know, UConn women's basketball is always near the top, but a lot of the shine to me had, you know, went over to LSU and going over to South Carolina and those teams. And this victory for him and his legacy is huge, because I think at this point you would have to stamp him as the GOAT as far as women's basketball when it comes to coaching. You know,
Yeah.
when you look at that legacy, and this was a big win for him to beat a Don Staley squad where, you know, South Carolina has been really dominant over the last few seasons, and really she's been getting a lot of hype, a lot of shine, a lot of players going to that school. So for him, big for his legacy.
See, I knew something was coming.
my favorite podcasters to here go the overhand right. That jab.
Oh man.
And the jab is so effective that
Yeah.
you kind of go to sleep
Got me
and
sleep.
then wham.
You know, but the thing about it is I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I was like, he great come with something.
Yeah.
And hit me right square in the mouth. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for coming, Dink. Saunders, for real. He did come to one of our playoff game.
Okay.
He came, and we won that game. We won the game he came to this year. He came, showed us some love. You know, yeah, you know, Gino definitely had UConn prepared for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure, man. But you know, like, dang, he got 12 championships now, 12 national championships.
Wow.
Which I remember the first one. With Rebecca Lobo. You know what I'm saying? That was in 95. And before that, UConn was, you know, they were not even on the radar screen. You know what I'm saying? They were. It's the same thing with UConn men's basketball. You know, I remember when they were kind of like middle of the pack to the bottom of the pack in that Big East. You know, in them 80s. You know, you know, you see, so you're able to see, you know, them tides turn, and you see programs, you know, go from here to here. You know, now UConn is what everybody's talking about. You know, as far as women's basketball, and then like you got South Carolina on the rise. You know,
Yeah.
Gino and Pat Summitt ran, yeah, for sure. I think I seen the graphic with Pat Summitt had eight national championships. So she had 8. He got 12. I mean, man, that's tough.
Yeah, that's domination right there.
Yeah, that's tough right there. And they was kind of seeing each other for a minute. You know, they was kind of running each other there in them 90s and early 2000s. Some of them teams that they had down there, and just some of the players, you know, that came up out of them programs, man. You know, but to see the growth of the women's game, like now, you know, where, you know, with like the run that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had a couple years ago, they kind of sparked that interest in the game. And then they were able to carry that over to the pros, you know, where you know, Caitlin, man, she's selling out every arena. They moving their games to the bigger arenas, man, because you know, I mean, and you look at the girls, the young ladies that's coming, you know, the talent is doing nothing but getting better. You know, and you see the WNBA is expanding to a couple more cities. You know, I just hope that the money finds its way to the women's game the same way it did to the men's game. You know, hope that they able to get that funding over there and get them young ladies paid. Get them paid, man, what they worth. You know, get that bag. You know, they don't play as many games as the men. You know, but I think the product right now is better. It's more watchable. You know, it's more watchable to me. You know, I know some people can't see themselves watching the women.
I agree. I agree with Landon, man. That the fundamentals, man, are on point with the women.
Yep. And like I say, the men's game is based off athleticism and you know, who's more athletic and all that stuff. But the skills, the women's game is just more fundamentally sound. You know, and then you have an exception. You have exceptions to it. You know, where you got, like I say, you got somebody like Caitlin. You got this girl Paige from UConn. She coming next year. You know, Juju got hurt. I wonder what difference would have made had she not gotten hurt. You know, going into the Final Four. What difference her being on the court would have made? Because she's definitely one of them ones too.
Sure.
You know, so just praying for Juju. You know, that she able to get back and be, you know, the type of player and see an injury like that for the women's game is not like it is for the men's game because the women don't play as athletic a game. They don't rely on their athleticism as much as men. You know, they're more like say the skills. Her skills are going to get sharper. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not playing above the rim, so a knee injury like that is not going to really hurt her game from an athletic standpoint. She just got to get back to the point where she can trust it. You know, I mean, I've never had that type of injury, but I know you do. You turn an ankle too many times and you cautious every time. Every time.
What was her injury?
She had ACL.
Wow.
Yeah, ACL.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
When
you
she
see?
went down, you know, she grabbed it right away, and you kind of knew because the way she was reacting, you knew it was
Yeah.
serious. It wasn't something just like I got a bump or bruise. Like you knew that was serious the way she was reacting.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and so she out. So I don't know what the I haven't heard what the recovery time is for it now. And you know, now with the modern medicine, man, and you know, it may not be what it was a few years ago.
True.
So I know I'll keep my eyes open on that, just kind of see what her prognosis is, you know, move forward. But she's
Speaking of
another.
her, did you see? I don't know. She was at a basketball game, sitting beside the quarterback for the Commanders.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Man, it looked like they was having a real good conversation, man. That thing looked. I mean, that was nice, man. I was like, look at that, boy. They look good together. And then all of a sudden, here come Mama.
No, sir.
Mama barged right in between them.
See,
Wow.
you know, man. Is there like a block feature I can put on these comments?
Boy, that boy.
This dude.
That's crazy.
This dude, see, you know, you remember the commercial, know when to say when?
Between balling, robbing, stealing. You mean tell me you never had an injury?
Ah, boy. Yeah. Mom said, no, sir.
Right. Exactly.
Not today, buddy.
Right.
I'm gonna get on in here. Juju, you look nice.
Right. I like to see the footage of the moment when the mama walked over there. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I ain't seen that. All I seen was one clip. Like you say, they having a great look like a great conversation.
Great conversation.
And the next thing you know, where mama come from?
Where mama come from? Like,
Mama was not having it.
He was not having
it. You know?
Yeah.
It's just that you know, everything getting attention now. You know, it's cameras everywhere.
Everywhere.
You can't do nothing in these days and times that's not gonna show up on camera somewhere. You know what I mean? So you need to be careful how y'all moving out there. You know?
Yeah, definitely, man. Speaking of women's basketball and you know, Juju out there at USC, man, shout out to Cheryl Miller and the McGee twins that played on that team. That was the first time that women's basketball became, to me, easy on the eyes to watch. It was exciting. Cheryl Miller was a beast. I give her a lot of credit, man, for you know, bringing college basketball, women's basketball up to a certain level, because she was a monster on that court. And you heard the stories of Reggie Miller, you know, Cheryl beating him down, you know, and he come home bragging because he dropped 40, and she come back and she done dropped 105. You know, Cheryl Miller was like that, and she had a lot to do with the rise of college basketball. Shout out to Cheryl Miller.
Shout out to Cheryl Miller. Sure. Shout out to Bob Smith, one of my classmates.
Okay.
Bob Smith, what's going on, man?
What's up, Bob?
So he loved the show. You want to know why the O's don't keep Cedric Mullins in the leadoff spot? You know, I haven't. I wish Cheese was on here. Because Cheese is hard on Brandon Hyde. And he been hard on Brandon Hyde for a couple years. You know, and so I wish he was here because that probably got his blood pressure up.
Where's Mullins batting in the lineup?
I haven't seen. I know they put him like 6th, 7th, 8th.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, always like at the bottom half of the lineup. But to me, I mean, I kind of agree. That he probably should be at the top of the lineup as a pace setter, table setter. But they got, you know, they be having Rutschman up there, 1 or 2, or him or my guy. What's my guy? Man, I'm blanking on the name. Shortstop. Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah.
So 3rd or 4th some nights. So yeah, so he moved him around. But he does a lot of that with the lineup. And I have
3rd or 4th some nights. Yeah, I don't like Mullins 3rd or 4th, man. I definitely would put him in that leadoff spot. I think he wants to be leadoff hitter, and if you want to be something, then you'll perform a lot better. I think he really want to be that leadoff hitter. I mean, he has the ability. I know that one year, man, he was phenomenal, and he's like I look at him kind of like a poor man's Ricky Henderson when he had that real good year. You know, he got some speed. A guy was talking to a guy today, asking him. He said, "I don't know what's going on with him out in the outfield." He said he's been a little sloppy out there in the outfield. Mm-hmm. Mullins, I don't know. I hadn't seen it, but yeah, I agree with you, Bob. I like to see him at the leadoff spot.
Yeah, but I wish Cheese was with us. Cheese got some. You know, he does not like Brandon Hyde and some of his decisions as a manager. You know, so Cheese, if you're watching, you got the link, brother. log in for about 5 minutes and give us a Brandon Hyde rant, please. Please. I need to see it. I need to hear it. You know, and I need a little entertainment because you know,
right.
We getting Saunders throwing these jabs and haymakers at me. You know,
right.
So I can't only take but so much. But yeah, Cheese is definitely he's not a fan of Brandon Hyde and some of the decisions he makes. And I like to have his take on the lineup. You know, what he thinks of the lineup. So he said he's definitely made some field mistakes this year. So I see, like I haven't really tuned into the Orioles yet. You know, because I just kind of pick my spots at this time of year with the basketball. You know, playoffs get ready to start, which now the NBA season is starting. To me, you know, it's hard for me to watch the NBA all year. I watch a game here and there, but I don't really lock in really until this time of year. You know, and I was shocked. I was floored when I saw the Denver Nuggets fired their coach today.
I didn't even know that.
They fired their coach today or last night. But like the playoffs are getting ready to start. And they like a 4 or 5 seed. They right there in the thick of it. And they fire. I don't understand that.
Something really had to happen.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I was floored when I saw that. I said, this gotta be, but they April Fools was last week.
Yeah.
That ain't a joke. Speed should be at the top of the lineup. Power 3, 4. Yep. Mullins hit a couple runs, and now they think he's Eddie Murray.
and he clearly ain't Eddie.
No, sir.
He clearly is not Eddie.
No, sir. He definitely ain't Eddie.
No.
He ain't steady. But like say, you know, remember a couple years ago, he went on that run when he was hitting home runs like every game. You know, he had like a 6, 7, 8 game stretch where he was just tearing the cover off the ball.
I like him. I would like him in the 1 or 2 slot. You know, speed. You know, and like I say, man, kind of like a poor man, Ricky Henderson, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cedric Mullins. Bob, you doing fantasy baseball this year, Bob?
We blame coaches a lot. Players have to go out and win, no matter the coach. Yeah, players get paid. You know, they get paid to work.
They need to produce.
But you know, the coach's job is to put them in position to be successful. You know, and again, I wish Cheese was here so he could air out his grievances with Brandon Hyde, because he definitely, and it's been a couple years. This ain't just like some new stuff. He been grinding Brandon Hyde for a couple summers now. You know, Bob said he in a home run derby league.
Okay.
Y'all talking over my head with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know. I think they go by how many home runs the team hit. I'm not sure how that go either. I'm still in our regular rotisserie league.
I didn't have the patience to do fantasy sports. It just took away. I couldn't even watch the games no more. I was I was so caught up in my people. I couldn't even enjoy a game. I was like, man, I need you to get a hit, or I need you I need somebody like in football. I need you to get 5 yards. I remember I lost a game in the fantasy league a couple years ago. I needed somebody to get 5 yards in the whole second half. I picked him to have X amount of yards. He killed it the first half, and I would have won the game if he'd have just ran for 5 more yards. And I think the second half he's put up a donut.
Yeah,
a donut, man. I couldn't believe it.
It had a lot of excitement for folks to watch. Draft 10 guys, and you take top 6, and then take your top 6. Okay. Yeah.
I just like to watch the games. I'll be losing my brain with all that. I need you to do this. I need the player to do that. Let me just watch the game and enjoy it. Gotta catch some O's games this year too. You know, get out to the yard.
Yeah.
You know, catch a couple games.
I know on the I don't know who that was that sent the picture of Camden Yards on the group message.
Cheese, that was Cheese.
That was Cheese, man. But that was that Camden Yards, man. It's a legendary park. I mean, like I said in the text message, it was a game changer. A lot of ballparks copied the style of Camden Yards, and I mean, you know, when something is new, it's new, and it's tough to replicate or keep the newness, the freshness of something. But man, that Camden Yards, man, I don't know how old it is right now. How old is Camden Yards? But that thing has kept the beauty, the comfortability, the freshness. It's iconic. Strong stadium, man.
Kathy Jones checking in.
Kathy Jones checking in. Let's go O's. What's up, Kat?
Camden Yards opened in 92.
92? Okay. Wow.
If my math is correct.
That's 32 years or so? 33? 33 years.
Years, man. So Eddie Murray.
Eddie Murray's number.
33.
They used to be on 33rd Street, right?
Didn't they?
Memorial Stadium.
And I'm gonna tell you, when they first opened, you know, I was so partial to Memorial Stadium. I didn't know, man. I didn't know how that thing was gonna be. I said, because you know, the 33rd Street was where the magic happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 33rd, man, is where I was introduced to baseball.
Miracle on 33rd.
So you know, I had a love affair with 33rd Street, and I just wasn't sure. You know what I'm saying? And I remember going to games in them early years. It just wasn't the same. You know what I'm saying? Because Camden Yard, like you say, it was new. It was kind of the prototype of what the ballparks we see now, and it was more of a place to go. you know, they were selling out every game and they had big crowds, man, but they weren't baseball people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You didn't have baseball fans. It wasn't filled with baseball fans in the early years. It was more people there for the event, but more people there for to see the new stadium and you know, Boog's Barbecue and all the little food spots, and you know, it was more of a novelty place. You didn't get that 33rd Street feel, and took 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 a few years
Yeah,
for
you start seeing the Mike Messinas, the Ben McDonald's on the team, and they started to make a little run, push for them playoffs. Lost a couple of playoff games where they could have got to the World Series, but
oh boy, you know what?
uh
And listen, I think this man need a manager. I'm about to sign him to my I'm, I'm about I'm about to sign him to Funky, what they call Funky Finger Productions. I'm about to be his manager. I'm about to put him on stage.
man, that was a vicious uppercut right there.
I'm about to put him on stage. Cause he ain't stopped yet. I knew
Man,
once he said the favorite podcast, I said, man, listen, that's a setup. Because they ain't not gonna stop. He's not gonna
it
stop.
was coming.
He's not gonna stop till I shut it down. It's just like the time he was on here with us. When he was on here with us,
Oh man, I'll never forget that.
I couldn't even close the show the right way. I just had to cut the thing off.
I woke up the next day, man. My ribs were sore. From laughing at his jokes.
He's not gonna stop. He's not
Relentless.
gonna stop. This dude, man, but like I say, one of my favorite people, man. Anytime we get together, we ain't gonna do nothing but laugh. I don't know how we got no work done. I don't know how we got no work done up there, but we had a ball. And this stuff y'all see, this might be kind of light compared to how it was when we was out there together. You know, oh my God, I know they coming. You know, he waiting for us to say something else. He go, oh, he going, boom, boom.
That's a heavy one right there, though.
Yeah, see, Memorial Stadium, just like, man, for me, and it's sentimental. You know, it was a little sentimental for me because that was like my grandfather. That was like, that was our little thing. You know what I'm saying? He would take me out there to the games. Like I was in love with the game of baseball and just the atmosphere at Memorial Stadium. You know what I'm saying? The Wild Bill up there on Section 34 with the
Yeah.
Just all of the people, man. Just I remember. I just remember a game. Orioles came back. Eddie Murray hit a grand slam. 7th, 8th inning. I know it's toward the end of the game. They were down big against the Chicago White Sox, and Eddie Murray hit a grand slam to put the Orioles back up. I think I was about 11 or 12 at the time. And this big dude, man, probably about my size now. Big, you know what I'm saying? Big, and he had, I don't know how many beers he had, but he was wound up. And Eddie hit that home run. He was in front of me, man. He turned, everybody high-fiving everybody. Man, that dude turned around with them hands up. I threw my hands up, man. He like to knock me back 20 rows, man. Boom! But it was just the excitement, the excitement of the big play. Eddie Murray come through, grand slam, Memorial Stadium going nuts.
Yeah, and I know they was already, chanting his name.
Oh yeah, you already know that.
Him walking out, and the guy was so prolific, man, with them bases loaded and men in scoring position. and he did it from both sides of the plate. It was a travesty, man, when he left the Orioles and went to the Dodgers. Crazy.
It just don't stop. It just don't stop. Now, all my Turner's family, y'all see this? Y'all see all this Turner Station slander? I keep telling him, I think secretly he wanted to live out there at some point. He don't stop coming for us.
Yeah.
Eddie was definitely special.
Eddie was special, man. Eddie was a special ball player. Both sides of the plate. He was gonna bat 300 every year. He was gonna get you your 30, and he's gonna drive in over 100 runs. And he did that every year, and that was pre PED.
Yeah.
That was before these boys started taking all this stuff that they taking now.
Yeah, and you know, Earl Weaver was part of the show.
Yeah.
Have you ever had the privilege to be out there and Earl come out there to argue with an umpire? That was almost as big as Eddie Murray hitting the home run.
It was. Earl was big, man.
I had the privilege to see that a few times. You know, I seen Earl getting right with some of them umpires. And Earl wasn't but this tall.
Yeah, he about 4'11". He turned that hat backwards.
Yeah.
Then he stopped putting dirt on the umpire's shoes. coming up home plate with dirt.
I had the privilege one game seeing Oakland A's was in town. This when Ricky was young. This when Ricky was his first go round with the Oakland A's. And it was something happened. Ricky was on base and he got called out. I can't remember exactly what happened, but Billy Martin came out there. And he put on a show too.
Yeah, Billy Martin was like that.
Man, he got the kicking dirt, man.
Right.
But
he probably was drunk.
Yeah, ain't no question.
Yeah. Billy kept a bottle in the dugout.
Yeah. So I got to see Earl go off a few times.
Yeah.
Seen Billy go off once, but that was just part of the show. That was part of the baseball scene back then.
Did the managers go off today? I mean,
I don't know. I don't think they go off like that.
Right.
I don't think they go off like that. And maybe I don't watch enough baseball to know. If I'm watching, I'm just watching the Orioles. I don't really watch a lot of other things too much. I'm such a homer. People think I'll be crazy when I tell them on Sundays after the Ravens game, I'm pretty much done with football for the day, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they play a 1:00 game, I'm good. I'm good the rest of the day. Now I might have the other games on, but I don't really like locked in like that.
No, I ain't locked in either.
I think I done gave so much energy to the Ravens that I be kind of like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that.
Yeah, the Baltimore Stallions. Did I go to a Stallion game?
I watched all of that on TV. I never went to any of that game.
I don't think I went to the game, but I did watch it. I never could get locked in to them, but them Colts leaving, man, was huge. That was huge. Yeah.
And the anniversary of that was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, them leaving, yeah.
Leaving. I for the first time a couple weeks ago, I saw a video from the Indianapolis perspective. When they, we always see the video of the Mayflower trucks leaving.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. But I saw the perspective of the Indianapolis people welcoming them to Indianapolis. The first time I ever seen that, man, I was like, wow. Like I never really seen it. They was just as excited as we were when we got the Ravens back.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't really excited about the Ravens coming back. the Brown. I didn't like the way that went down.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like the way that we got, Art Modell and them came here the same way, we lost the coach. He just didn't do it in the middle of the night. And he tried to do the right thing by leaving the Cleveland Browns colors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like a sentimental move, really.
Yeah, the NFL was doing Baltimore dirty around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore was trying to do it the right way, and they was bringing in some expansion teams, and they was putting together, their packages for expansion. And when they certain day you had to be ready. So Jacksonville put theirs up, Carolina put theirs up,
Yeah.
Baltimore put theirs up. And I'm not sure, was St. Louis around that time? I don't know, but clearly they said that Baltimore had the best package. They gave Carolina one, and then they delayed time announcing the second franchise. And basically, they was giving Jacksonville time to get their act together because they didn't want Baltimore, and so Baltimore got gangster on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they got gangster, man.
We got something for that. Because I think they were gonna be called the Baltimore Bombers.
Yeah, because when they was trying to get that franchise, that Jacksonville ultimately got, they had that name thing going around in the paper, and the name came out as the Baltimore Bombers, which but then when the Browns came, it was a whole new fresh mindset as far as that name, and they came up with the Ravens, which I thought was a great name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saunders like he wished we could have kept the Colts.
Yeah,
I think that would have been the right thing to do.
Yeah, Ursay, man, he stayed drunk too. He traded John Elway.
Yeah. John said he's going to the Yankees.
Right.
Y'all draft me, I'm going to play baseball. Yeah.
Right.
See how that worked out.
Yeah.
I was an Elway fan.
Yeah.
I was an Elway fan. I didn't take it back. I didn't take it out on him that he didn't want to come to the Colts.
No, and I've heard subsequent. I've heard him talk about that a little bit, saying that he didn't want to come to Baltimore, and he was throwing that out there. He said, but if they came at him and threw that money at him, he said more than likely he would have signed.
Oh yeah. He wasn't crazy.
Right.
Crazy. He dropped the bomb on the thing because the tennis took it literally. and you still got a Stallions t-shirt. I bet you wear it proudly.
Stallion t-shirt.
Yeah. You wear it proudly. So Bob asked about the new Maryland coach.
Yeah. Buzz Williams. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him, but I do know that he was at Virginia Tech, he was at Texas A&M, he was at another program, and he's taken teams to the Sweet 16, and he's made it to the Elite 8 as a coach. Mm-hmm. When he did his press conference, that was really my first introduction to him. I like some of the things that he said, which I was hoping that the Terps would hire, a young up and coming coach that might can stick with the program. I think that the DMV area is a dynamic area, man, when it comes to basketball and the talent that we have in basketball. And I just thought that they need a coach, that can match that dynamic atmosphere. Yeah. I don't necessarily think that Buzz Williams is that guy to do that, but I do know that he has won wherever he's gone. And when I heard him talk, I clearly understood that this guy knows how to coach. Mm-hmm. So and right now it's all about NIL money. Apparently, Maryland, from what I understand, is that the money that they were prepared to have for the Terps team this year was second in the Big Ten as far as amount. So NIL was there. The guy can the recruiting is going to be big because in this area, I understand that that Stink went with Willard
Kevin Willie, I saw that.
to Villanova.
I saw that.
Which is smart on Willard's part because he's got connections in this area and like Bob is saying, this is a talent-rich area, this Baltimore, DC, DMV area. So he's trying to keep that connection. He was trying to get Jacoby to come over there to Villanova with him, but he wound up going to Tennessee. Jacoby Gillespie, he's from Tennessee, so he went there. Of course, the super freshman, Derek, he went. He's going pro.
To the league.
Yeah, he's going to the league, and he put on a show, man. And with one of the biggest moments in Terp basketball history, with him making that tremendous game-winning shot, and them asking him, where did you get that toughness coming? He said, I'm from Baltimore. That's why I get it from. I mean, that's one of the biggest moments in Terrapin basketball history. And I'm listening to this damn Willard dude talk this crazy stuff, man. What the hell is wrong with him? I heard him say, yeah, well, we're going to the Sweet 16. I wish I had done it first with Seton Hall. I really wish I went to the Sweet 16 with Seton Hall. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
Get him out of here.
Get this guy out of here. I mean, and the way I was feeling, I would have pulled a move like the Denver Nuggets did. I'd have fired his ass before the Sweet 16 game. Get your ass over to Seton Hall. Go ahead to Villanova. Get the hell on out of here.
Get on out of here.
Yeah, go ahead on about your business, boy.
Remember Bo Schembechler did that back in the day. He was the AD.
Yeah,
fired the Michigan coach right before the tournament.
Right before the tournament. That's what I'm talking about.
And they went on and won the national championship.
And won it anyway.
Won the championship anyway.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. And he left Maryland. What he did, man, and they was asking, was he going to Villanova? And he said, I haven't talked to anybody, but my agent, my agent's been talking to people. I'm like, dude, if your agent is talking to people, you done gave him the okay to go talk to people.
Yeah.
What is he talking about? I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I never knew, man. I was listening to what's the ESPN guy went to College Park.
Man, I can't think of name. I'm looking right at his face.
I was listening to him talk, and he said that Willard did the same thing when he left Seton Hall to come to Maryland.
Yep. Exactly.
I heard Jay Billis talk about that. He said that's the exact same thing, and they just said it was pretty much shameful what Willard did, and kind of left Maryland because everybody jumped into the transfer portal.
Scott Van Pelt. Thanks, Bob.
I jumped into the portal, and but Buzz Williams is making some moves. I heard he got the guard from Indiana, Miles Rice. Which was shocking. He brought the boy Farrell from A&M. He brought another guy from Texas A&M with him, and he just got a guard from Kansas signed with him today. Yeah, so he's making moves.
Speaking on the Maryland front, on the women's side, former Terp Baltimore native. I don't know if you remember Vicky Bullitt. Played for the Lady Terps back in the 90s. She passed away.
Okay.
She was dealing. She had a bout with cancer that she succumbed to. I just saw that a couple hours ago. So I just definitely want to send condolences out to not Vicky Bullet. I'm saying Vicky Brick. Vicky Brick.
Brick.
And she was not. It wasn't Vicky Bullet. It was Vicky Brick. I'm sorry.
Brick. Okay. Okay.
Brick. I believe she went to McDonough. I know she went. I think she went to McDonough. Her family owns Brick Body.
Okay.
The gym out there in Timonium.
Timonium, yeah.
Yeah, Vicky Brick. I'm sorry, not Vicky Bullet. Vicky Brick. She passed away. She had a bout with cancer that she succumbed to, and she definitely was one of the top high school female players in her era in Baltimore area. She went on down to the University of Maryland and played down there. So I just want to send condolences to her family, to the Brick family, on the loss of Vicky Brick, who passed away from cancer. So wanted to send condolences out to them.
Yeah.
So it just a tough time, Also, so on a more positive note, want to send out some shout outs to Coach Roger Dickens. Roger Dickens was the head basketball coach up at CCB, Baltimore City Community College, for many years, and he's one of the Baltimore legends, one of the Baltimore hoop legends. Played a couple years up at Towson, and he was just recently named. Man, let me get this out before you come with the jokes, man. He was just recently named to the Hall of Fame at Towson University.
Okay. About
So
time.
congrats to Raj, man. He should have been in there.
Yeah.
Raj, man, good dude, man. Much respect, Coach Raj, on your Hall of Fame induction. It's long overdue. Should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. But as they say, better late than never.
Roger Dickens, man, is a Dundalk tournament legend. Mm-hmm. He used to put on some shows up there at the Dundalk tournament, and that was such a talent-rich tournament. I mean, it was. I mean, you had all the players, man. I mean, Skip played up there. When he was in high school, the Grahams, Joe Pace, John Lucas, University of Maryland, Mo Howard was up there. I'm sitting in the stands watching all these dudes play, man. It was some legends that came through there, and Roger Dickens was one of them. He used to put on some shows up there.
That was up at the college.
Yeah.
Dundalk Community College.
Oh, was it at the college? I think it might have been at the high school back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories about that tournament. I'd like to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that thing was legendary, man.
Roger had the best corner. He was the best corner shooter ever seen during this time.
Yeah.
Roger smooth too.
He was, man.
Smooth.
Hell of a ball player.
Hey, what's up, Raj? Shout out to Raj. I gotta see if I can get Raj up on here. I'm running to him from time to time. I'm gonna try to get Raj on here. If anybody watching know Raj, tell him I'm trying to get with him. Tell him hit me up. Trying to get up here. Give him some flowers.
Yeah.
Man, give him flowers. One of my favorites. Roger Dickens. So he's a Hall of Famer up at Towson University now.
Yeah.
So if you caught the my interview I had with Ernie Graham, right? Ernie talked about Skip Wise. And, I said, of course, I never got opportunity to see Skip play. And Ernie said, Skip, best player to come out of Baltimore. He just didn't, for other reasons, he didn't get to where he could have got to.
Right.
But I asked him, I said, so whose game would you compare Skip's to, like to somebody that didn't see Skip play? What name would you throw out there and say that was who Skip Wise was? He said without hesitation, SGA. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He said that's how Skip played.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, damn, if Skip was like that,
I can see that. Yeah.
that's tough. You
Yeah.
know.
Skip, man. he like I say, man. I mean, I know the great Reggie Williams, #1 high school player coming out, and all them tremendous dumb ball players coming out, man. Skip Wise, man. They had him ranked as the #2 player coming out. And the only reason he won #1 because of Moses Malone. Because of Moses Malone, and I think the year that Skip and them came out, that might have been the first is that the first McDonald's All-American game? But Skip was so tough, he played on the US All-Star team. He didn't play on the local team, the metropolitan area team, because he was that guy, man. And I had an opportunity to watch him when he went to Clemson. And Skip Wise was the first freshman in ACC history to ever make first team All ACC. And of course, some of the earlier years they wouldn't allow freshmen to play on the team. So some of the early years they didn't do that, but it was so many years. I think it didn't happen until Kenny Anderson came for Georgia Tech to be able to make first team All ACC. But Skip Wise, man, man, that guy was something, man. Skip Wise was really, really something, man. And it was so sad, man, that he didn't make it. He left Clemson and wound up trying out for that ABA team, the Baltimore Claws, and I think he had signed a contract, and then it folded. The ABA folded, and just tough times. And he tried out with one of the NBA teams, and he was like one of the last cuts, and it just didn't happen for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. I see them stories like that, because it's not video footage, and some of them stories get lost with especially a lot of younger people. A lot of younger people are visual. They need to see it. It's the same way with down Turners. People talk about Eric Venable. You know what I'm saying? And without the footage, without being able to see it, it's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
That he was as tough as people say he was. But I've heard it so many times from so many different people at different times. You talking to somebody, and then you talk to somebody else a whole couple years later that wasn't part of the original conversation you had, and their story corroborate and even take it to another level, just how tough he was. And so I just like to say, man, I respect, what came before me. I got to a point in life, I don't really even debate who was better than who, what era was better than what. I just respect for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because we all learn from something, and we all learn from somebody. So, like, for me to look at the Cornell Lewis's, you know what I'm saying, the Lou Winstons, you know what I'm saying, from down Turner Station. You know what I mean? Harold Darrell, you know what I'm saying? Them were the guys when I was a little kid, watching them dudes hoop. And that's just a couple of them. I mean, we can listen for days down here. Those are just a couple of the guys like that I just, remember vividly seeing them play, and kind of learning from what they did. And their stuff ain't no videos of them floating around or what they did in their heyday. But I had opportunity to see it with my eyes, you know what I'm saying, and then play with them a few times as well. So I can tell you that they stamp, legit. There ain't no cap, as the youngins say. Ain't no cap on that. Them dudes was legit, and God bless everybody that's able to get footage of their exploits. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm also smart enough to know that you can make a highlight tape on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get so caught up in your highlights that you you missing the low lights. You know what I'm saying? So Kenny say, who you talking about? Played a couple games with the Spurs for 2 games. Who you talking about? Skip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he may have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But his legend, the legend of Skip Wise is, you know, that name, since I've been around basketball, I've always heard about Skip Wise. You know, always heard about him. So
Yeah.
yep.
Skip was that guy, man, and his legend. I mean, all the kids up in the city. I mean, you on the basketball court and you messing around and you got the ball and you yelling Skip.
Yeah.
You know, as you trying to take somebody to the hole, you yelling out Skip's name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how big he was, man.
Yeah. But that's, you know, legends never die.
And when he knocked off the Mather down there, man, that was the game that changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't really understand that when Dunbar played the Mather was on this long winning streak. They hadn't lost a game in a couple years, and Dunbar had a undefeated winning streak going also. But basketball back then was so rich. That's what they call them, honey dip. Basketball was so rich that on that particular day, you had the University of Maryland playing with Lynn Elmore and Tommy McMillan, and them guys was on that team. John Lucas and them, they played. I think they was playing Duke that game. Mm-hmm. I think it was the actual game where Lynn Elmore had hurt his broke his leg or something in that game. Then you had Morgan playing Coppin that same day, and with Marvin Webster was up at Morgan, and Joe Pace was at Coppin, and they was playing each other, or yeah, I think it was here at University of Eastern Shore, but they played each other, Pace and Marvin Webster. Of course, you know, Marvin Webster went on to the league. Joe Pace was in the league. Lynn Elmore was in the league, and then also there was a game with the Bullets. The Baltimore Bullets played that same day with Wes Unseld and them boys on the team. So this was what was happening during that time, and all of those legendary ball players. The biggest damn game of the day was Dunbar playing DeMatha.
That's tough.
Dunbar playing DeMatha.
That's tough.
Was the biggest game, man, and they wind up playing it down at the Civic Center back then. It was supposed to play somewhere else, but they was having trouble finding a spot for it because all these games was going on, and they wind up down there at the Civic Center, and Skip Wise ripped them to shreds, man. Ripped them to shreds, man. Adrian Dantley led the Mather team, and the legend, man, and that was Coach Kane last game.
Wow.
That was his last game, and they carried him off the field, off the court, man. Wow. You know, so that whole thing was so legendary, and I just remember my father coming home telling me about the game. He was just wound up about it.
Yeah.
I was mad as hell he didn't take me. You know, man, if I'd have been down there to see that game and had that in my memory bank.
Oh yeah. 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 And you know, I've seen some games, you know, like when Glenny had Dante Bright on his show the other day, and like I was at quite a few of their games, you know, so I got to see them boys, man, and just how special they were. You know, Mike Lloyd and Keith Booth and, you know, Diego, Paul Banks, all them boys, man.
What a team.
School to Alexander, you know,
yeah.
tough. Man, them boys were tough, man.
What a team, man.
And just to to be able to see that firsthand, you know what I mean, and kind of watch them things, and it's like the 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 aura that they had.
They all part of that Dunbar folklore, man. That history.
When you are the hunted,
them dudes was carrying on that legend, man.
man,
Unreal, man.
It was great to be a part of it, just from from the stand, just to be in the gyms to see some of them things, man.
Pete Pompey, man, got that baton, man, and was carrying that thing.
Yes, sir. Yep, Cyrus Jones. Yep, worked down there at DJS. Yeah. I was down there with him, T. He live around the corner from me now. Well, I live around the corner from him. Either way, we neighbors.
Yeah. I was so mad, man. They bust that Dunbar thing up, man. They wanted to kill that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't. Dunbar meant so much to Baltimore, though.
Shout out to my guy Tater. He down there, head coach down. Young fella. He played at Dunbar a couple years ago. Went up Morgan, played up Morgan, did his thing up Morgan. He worked for DJS as well. He a DJS guy. Dante, you know what I'm saying? He the head varsity coach at Dunbar this year. Had a real good season. I saw his team play one game. Looked real good. He got them boys balling, man. So I don't know what the what the prognosis is for the next couple years. But a young coach, man, he got that young energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for him to do some big things down there. So shout out to my man Dante down there at Dunbar, the head coach, Dunbar boys varsity basketball. So, man, we've been 2 hours at this thing.
Yeah. Been overdue.
Yeah, I guess we probably could go another 2.
Right.
If we just talking basketball, just talking sports, we probably go another 2, but I guess I do have to get up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah, we do got jobs and shit.
Yeah, I do got to go to work.
Yeah.
I do need a little sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't when a couple years ago I probably could have did it and just went straight to work.
Well, that's back in our youth.
Yeah, them days are long gone.
Yeah, that energy, man.
Shutout is a must.
Man,
shutout is a must. But yeah, it was a good show tonight. Talk a little basketball, a little NIL, a little transfer portal. UConn women dominating fashion, beating South Carolina. Florida is the men's national champion. NBA playoffs about to start in a week. Here we go. The parting shot. Boy, I tell you. I tell you. I wonder sometimes, did this dude really like me?
Y'all homies, man. Y'all was at the job for some years.
But truth be told, we didn't even work together a whole year.
Oh, for sure. Oh, it was that short?
It wasn't even a whole year, man. It was a couple months. Because he came and he ended up leaving. And then I left. And then he ended up coming back. I was gone, but when he came back, and we did some work. I was with an agency that I was still dealing with DJS kids. So I was there with some of his kids. But yeah, we didn't actually work together but a couple months. But you would think we had some years down there.
Right.
Man, I'm talking about literally, man, it was a couple months. And wow. No question. One of the realest. You know what I'm saying? Because like, hey, but behind all the laughs and all that stuff, I know he a real dude. You know what I'm saying? 100%. And like the laughs, the jokes, man. That's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? I just tend to take more of the brunt of the punishment than I give out. But it's all good because I know it comes from a good place, man. I know it comes from a good place, and really out of a place of respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
We in that respect, man. We cut on each other every time we see each other. We gonna greet each other with some pleasantries, but the jabs is coming right after that.
Yeah, Landon was a real good athlete. You know, of course we were up in Maryville together. He was a real good athlete up in Maryville. I think he played some college football and you know, real smart guy and intelligent. He's been on the show and you can, you know, he talked real good stuff. You can see some of the comments that he dropped. You can tell he got he's cerebral. And but man, when he came on that show and started dropping them jokes, man, one after the other, I didn't really know he was that prolific with the jokes. But man, like I said, man, I woke up the next morning with sore ribs from laughing.
Hey man, you great catch one right here.
I see what he said.
Look.
With Wilkes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I might invite you back on here one day.
Right.
You know, but I'm gonna have to have control of the mute button.
Yeah, you got
have control of the mute
right.
button when he come on here because I know it's gonna be nonstop. You know, and ain't no telling what'll set them off. See, that's the thing. You don't know what get them going. You know, and it seems like it don't take much.
Right.
It don't take much to get them on the roll. You know.
That's true.
Yeah, but hey, good show. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna end it with some you know, got a little applause from my audience, my studio audience checking me out.
That's right.
Thank y'all for tuning in. You could have been anywhere tonight.
Yeah.
Here with your boy. You know, hope y'all hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel for those that's on YouTube checking out.
Keep the Lewis family in your thoughts and prayers.
For sure. Lewis family, much love, much respect. Cornell Lewis, rest in peace, my brother. never be forgotten.
Yeah, I like the way I think that might have been his niece, man. Rest easy. I like that.
Yes,
Perfect.
Sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Is that his residual money? Special effect. Eddie Kane in the building.
Oh man.
Eddie Kane in the building. You know, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, man, it's been a great show again. You know, once again, we just want to send condolences out to the Lewis family. Cornell, rest in peace, my brother. Dedicated the show to you.
Yes, sir.
Tonight. And we gotta get up out of here. I'm gonna play the theme one more time as we tune out. Any parting words before we go, bro?
Yeah, no, man. It's a pleasure to be back on the air. I know it's been a minute. You know, once, like you say, once them Ravens went down, you know, we needed some time away after that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no real parting words, man. Just again, my condolences to Cornell's family, and yeah. Big loss.
Big loss for real. So prayers out. Peace out to you, my brother. Till we do this thing one more time.
We do it again. Yes, sir.
We out of here.
Big Lou. Yeah. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. Sports mix. Yeah. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the sports mix with Kenny. News and knowledge. A lot of dope techniques make kids become scholars. You need to tune in. A lot of hot topics. When it comes to sports, Kenny sound like a prophet. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. Plus he keep you up on all the hottest trends. Plus you never know who he has as a guest. So grab a cold one, man, and just tune in. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. Rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty. You in the mix, man. You in the mix. You in the mix. Sports mix. You in the mix. You rockin' with Kenny. When it comes to news, man, he got plenty.